It is good to be aligned again with the technologist forum. Just look at the co-host that I got here, ladies. I got some winners here, as you all know, and this is what we do. We talk about technology. We talk about it from an enterprise side, from a consumer side, and just have a dialogue about best practices, use cases, and all of those things of that nature. So let's go ahead and get into it. Florence Donald, we got to start ladies first, though. I mean, because this is your first time being in the hot seat, and I put you across from Matt because you know that could be dangerous if you're right next to Matt because he always comes in with the fire. So tell folks if you can because everyone knows Greg and Matt, but you know let's just tell folks who you are, kind of that 35,000 foot level, that elevator pitch of who in the world is Florence Donald.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, I'm so excited to be here. I can't stand myself.
Come on now.
I made it, mama. I made it. But long time nerd, as I call myself, but really much longer time productivity consultant and really wanting to help businesses, ministries, volunteer leaders use technology and workflows to transform their 1,440 minutes that they have every day like the rest of us and to achieve what's important to them, and that's where I live. How do you get the most out of that every minute of every day for your purposes? And that's at the core, that's who I am.
Love it. Appreciate you. And not to overshadow anyone else here, but again, we all know who Dr. Haas is and Mr. Russell, the Jedi. Um, let's do this. And I see folks chiming in. So, Mr. Stone, appreciate you for being here as well and your attention. Productivity tools, specifically to us as entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and then really as kind of digital creatives. There's a ton of platforms, there's tons of services, either hardware, software, whatever the case may be. And we were talking behind the scenes a little bit about the latest LLMs that are coming out with their newest iterations. But let, let's get a little bit more granular and talk about what are you using on a day-to-day basis so that you can do the thing. You can go live. You can create runs of show. You can book guests on your shows. You can research information. What is it that you are using? I'll go directly to my side here, Mr. Matt Haas, and ask you first. Right. What are some of the
Got it.
tools in your toolkit that keep you afloat? You go live every day at 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how you do that. So, what? Talk to us a
It's a
little
little
bit.
easier on the Eastern time zone,
Yeah.
but um, I use a suite of free tools. I like voice memos, Apple Notes, um, regular pen and paper, sometimes in a pinch. Notion, I love me some Notion, and Google Calendar, Google Docs. Those are sort of the main items for capturing information on the spot, and then Notion right there. Boom! That's a piece of art I made. Haha. And I'll put it in Notion and keep track of everything there. I've have a mind that understands databases and how to build databases, and that Notion works for me. And I don't use Notion for anything that's commercially available, free or paid. If something's free or paid, it's usually a very mature product. That would probably be the choice. But
Hmm.
I'm doing, you know, niche content creation. I'm an Amazon influencer. I plan and track a lot, and so that needs to be all customized. Notion's good for that. So I have a whole suite of stuff. But as you noticed, you don't have to pay for any of those things, and I love it.
That just opens up a can of worms in terms of questions that I want to ask. And again, everyone chip in and chime in as well, because you get what you pay for a lot of times, and I say that. And yeah, Notion, in theory, could be free, but I'm sure. Did you
Oh yeah,
upgrade to at least a
oh,
version where?
not only am I in pro, but I'm
Okay,
also pay to have it be a real domain name because I use
okay,
it as my website. But that's like another conversation.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. So you could probably at least do 70 to 80% of what you need from a productivity perspective as a content creator, as a digital creative, without having to have that next level of the note.
Right, right.
Okay.
And one more thing before we leave, the thing about free is it's not that it's free, which is obviously good. It's more that it's compatible with what most people in the world use. Google Calendar is the
Mm,
most used calendar service. And I mean, if there was something that everyone used and was paid, I would be on that. So it's not, I am frugal by nature, but that's not the business reason. I make business decisions based on um, output quality and results. And the things I mentioned are free, but they give you the results that I need.
love that. I love that. And Chris Stone is here. Hey, that what you just said will be cut up in about 2 hours and turned into a short, and you'll be.
I
I'll,
love it. I'm
I'll,
winning.
I'll, I'll
Hashtag
take
winning.
I'll take all the spaces out and the pauses, but that's going to be right. There'll be a nice little music track. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm deviating. That sir was. That's what. Oh, he's not even
Nice.
looking. Is he
I
looking?
saw it right here. I'm
Okay,
finding
geez.
mine. Boom.
All right, all right. First time I pulled out the Matt Hot. Oh, everyone's got them. Jeez. Okay. So there's Notion right there, and I got it up on the screen. I'm looking at pricing again. As we talked a little bit about, from a free perspective plus. So you're probably running business.
So I want to jump
Yeah,
in
something like
Step
real
that.
in.
quick. Matt, you're talking about Notion, but we start the proverbial start with the end in mind. What is it you want to get out,
Oh, she already
right?
went that
What
way.
what
I
is
was.
what is your end game?
Mm,
And from many of us, I would submit our end game is getting all of the stuff that's in our head out and having it in a place where we trust it and we can get back to it quickly. And getting it out of our heads is friction free. So for those of us who are in the Apple world, that's going to be something that we can pick up and speak to most of the time as we go about our day, whether we're in the kitchen or whether we're in the boardroom. It's going to
mm.
be something we speak to. And the other is old fashioned pen and paper is still the number one, in my opinion, best tool there is. There's something that's magical and it's scientific that happens when you take a pen, you move your hand across that paper, and you write what you're thinking down. So pen and paper is not going anyplace. All the technology in the world is at this stage is not going to change it because you can do it's so flexible, right? It's completely flexible. Just a regular old notebook and a crayon, a marker, a pen,
The
whatever it
flashback
is, a
would say
pencil
crayons.
that makes sense to your brain, right? Because we all think differently. Um, that's my favorite tool of everything, and I have tons of them. I have more than I can count, but that's my favorite tool is grabbing a pen, piece of paper, and just what I'm thinking, I can draw it, I can write it, I can whatever, make lines and doodles. But when I look back at it, it tells me exactly what I was thinking at any given moment.
Mm.
Now I can take that and transform it into something else. And I
Let me.
think that the majority of people, if they start there,
Yeah.
what do I want to get? And that what I'm thinking, what's in my brain, I want to get it out so I can look at it objectively and then start to make decisions.
Let me bring that back to a technology perspective. I think Greg definitely have you chime in as well. Pen and paper, yeah, obviously it's tactile. You get that mind body, you get that connection right there. Have you ever considered, or do you know about the Remarkable tablet?
um,
I
f- Go ahead.
I don't
I had a
hit a
tablet
nerve or something.
that I had a pen and tablet that when you wrote on it, it would capture you could replay yourself writing on the page, and it had a microphone, and it can play back the audio that was in the room when you wrote it down. Is it anything like that?
it
Not
it's
quite.
yeah, it's not quite. I'll let you
Not quite.
go into it though. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have not used a remarkable tablet. Can right now, I can't remember the name of it, but the pens that you had and it had the little dots on the paper and it would record and then you could send it off someplace. I use that for the proverbial hot minute. And I
Hmm.
just realized if I'm doing this work to capture what I want on paper, this digital version is not serving me well. It's just as easy for me to take a picture of it and throw it wherever I want it to go. Whether I wanted to go take that picture and put it in a Apple Note or Evernote or Notion or wherever. There are a number of things. OneNote, keep going. You can throw that image into those other tools um, and capture it in my brain. It's really no different. And I'm not looking at the tactile feel is not lost. We have I won't say we all, but using a iPad with Paperlike on it and an Apple Pencil
Mm.
gives you a very similar um, experience.
Yeah,
It's still
I.
not exactly the
It's
same
not the
as the
same.
old fashioned
It's not, and the only thing
for the
that's
way we process information.
yeah, I pull on my Apple Pencil as I'm getting ready to make this statement. The only thing that's as close to real paper and pencil would be this remarkable. iPad is not because one, it's the
Is it e-ink?
it's an EE type of scenario, and you've got all these other things that are hitting you with the dopamine hits, right? You got notifications, you got all these other apps, but all the remarkable does is let you write, draw, and then transfer that to a desktop or to a cloud environment. So it's just geared specifically for that purpose, as opposed to being multi multimodal, so to speak. So I was just curious if either of you had used that, but it sounds like you again like the old school loose leaf number two pencil and
Yeah,
and
I've
crayon,
used
as you
it
said.
and it dare I say it ended up in a pile with some other stuff that I've tried.
Mm.
I try this stuff and I go, do I like it? Nah, let me go back. Because at the end of the day, I go back to what's the most effective use of that time that I have for me, and it's different for each of us. And this is a cool tool. It's very now and but I don't like it. The experience is not something that I enjoy. That enjoyment factor is real. Using any technology that you really genuinely enjoy using is key
Yeah, that
because you'll
translates, I think,
continue to
into
use it.
I go so that translates into avoiding things like burnout and the stuff like that. Greg, what about you, man? I mean, what you, the tech Jedi yourself? What are you using to stay productive? We've gone from Notion to pen and paper. I'm gonna keep messing with crayons there because Florence is talking
Eh,
about crayons, but
I I'll second what you said. Now, I don't have the remarkable, but from what I've heard and what I've seen, and from those who I know who've used it, it is the next best thing if you're going to not write on pen and paper and you want digital. The
mm,
remarkable is the next best thing. But again, if you like, if assuming you like it, right? So you have to try it and see if you like it. For me, listen, man, I made a list of 18 different tools that I use that were fit for this show. And I know we're not going to get them all, but I have a list. And then when you said that we actually use, so I took that list and I pared it down to 10, 10 that I actually use. So I'm gonna drop this first one right now. And it is called Big View. And Big View is I can share my screen if you want, but it is a tool that allows you to put what you're going to say on video on an app inside of the computer, and then it also has an app on your phone, and so you can read within your phone, talk to it, and it will not move your eyes like you're reading. It's one of the tools that's really good for creating those reels and short videos that
mm-hmm.
you need without looking like you're reading. So if you want a tool to do that and have a teleprompter that's right on your phone, I highly recommend Big View.
So okay, let's pause because I've got Big View as well, and Big View is the truth. I'm surprised that are still around. But I'm also pleasantly surprised that they continue to iterate. right? Because they started just as that teleprompter app and that teleprompter platform, but now again, it's moved from desktop to being much more of a robust mobile application as well, and being able to create AI videos, AI avatars, and things like that. So that's one of the old AppSumos that actually was worth the that was worth the initial purchase because they continue to evolve. I'm not sure if that's when you got it, but okay, Big View.
Yep.
We can we
Big
can, we
view.
can, talk, we can keep that one on the list. I like that. I like that. Okay, what else you got?
What else I got? Y'all ready for the next one? The
Listen, if you
next
came with a
one.
list, I'm just gonna put them on the screen, and Matt's gonna shoot you down when he doesn't like it. So I'll just keep putting
Okay,
them on the
well that
screen.
well let me start firing shots too because I was quiet because you all was on the Notion thing, but Notion never really did it for me. You talking about that like factor? It just never clicked for me. I'm good with Evernote. I'm good with Google Docs, but
Yeah.
Notion was just not something that worked for me. That's just me. Yes, Chris Stone says Big U has some good stuff. Appreciate that, Chris. So the next one is called tek'na.le.gist. It is TELLA.TV. And what I like about this one, this is a desktop screen recording similar to like Loom, but what it's different is it allows you to record in segments. So you can figure out what you're going to say, do the hit the record button, hit the stop button, then figure out what you're going to say next, hit the button again, record the next segment. So you don't have to go and edit and put it together later. You can just do it and click segments. If you ever watch the news and you notice they don't stay on an anchor for long, they will say what they got to say and they will pass it to someone else or they pass it to someone in the field. It's like they know if someone has to talk and read a teleprompter for a long period of time, it's very difficult. So they do everything in short chunks. And what Tele allows you to do is do the same thing. You can record in real short chunks and then just have it put it together in one video without you having to actually edit. You just record it in the chunks that you need. I love this tool. It's one of the most powerful ones that I think for creating videos, and highly recommend Tele.tv.
So
That sounds
let's.
good for my Amazon influencer videos
I was getting ready to
because,
say right
I'll
there, right? Again,
yeah.
for those UGC types of videos where you've got something and it's kind of in scenes that you want to record. Is that kind of your use case?
Yep.
Scenes
Yep.
or just saying things 3 times and not liking the first 2 times I say it and then having to go edit it out. Maybe this
Well,
could make it more tight.
well,
Maybe,
don't throw
I don't know.
yourself under the bus like that. You didn't have to do
Hey,
that.
So
I'm
I'm
not
going to
Okay.
say,
ashamed of it.
what is so different, Rebel over here? What is different using those versus using Ecamm fam over here, and just hitting the pause button? Hit the pause button, get your thoughts together, look at your notes, do whatever you're going to do, and keep going.
Hmm.
It's
So I'll tell you
it's
the difference because one of the things I
what's
love
the
about
difference?
Ecamm is that once you hit done, you have that video file. There's no rendering or processing. The difference is if you do a clip and you mess up, you don't have to save that clip. You can just be like, all right, skip that one and do another one. So with Ecamm, if you pause it and you mess up and you have to re-record it, now you still have to go and edit that out on the back end.
I guess the
Okay,
question
so I'm
is
going to come back with the start a new recording feature in Ecamm. It's effectively the same thing. I got a clip, I want to start it, it doesn't reduce it. You've got your clip, you're good to go.
Nope. If you were
I'm
doing it in
asking because
Ecamm,
someone is going to ask this question,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
okay.
let's answer the question because that skeptic out there is going to ask it and say, well, why wouldn't I just use this?
So if let's say you have 4 clips, okay, and let's say the second clip is the one that's messed up, right? In Ecamm, you can't go and put back that second clip with the right one. With TeleTV, you can.
I guess the big picture is using tele-TV to insert or flip around or adjust the clips. Is the labor of doing that any greater or less than using a video editor?
If you're going to record it, so if you record it in a way, so for in your recording process while you're doing it, what you do is if you record a clip that you're not going to like, you don't actually upload that one to the thing. You can in the recording process. Let's say it takes you 15 minutes, and let's say you have one clip that you don't like, you can redo it right then and there. And then when you upload it, you don't have to do a lot of or any editing. It's already in clips that you want.
So the labor of uploading it to the
Okay.
thing, how is that compared to scrubbing through your timeline and with the trim tool and hitting delete? They're
It's
both kind
way
of
faster. It's way
way faster.
faster.
Okay.
I
Yep.
mean, and I think at the end of the day, that's the value add, right? So anything that takes steps, this is for me, so maybe I'm just being selfish, that takes steps out of the workflow and allows me to get, like Matt was saying, the thing out, to get it done, to get the recording piece done, regardless of how many takes that we have. And that's why I still have this graphic on the screen. Telus seems to be able to allow you to instantly upload, do have preset templates, do instant rendering. So kind of again, take those administrative steps out of the workflow. I've never used it before. I'm gonna check it out, and I'll definitely put a link in the description. Listen,
Yeah.
if you got an affiliate link, Mr. Greg, you definitely make sure
Nope.
you
Just go ahead
provide
and
that.
grab it, man.
Okay, I'm trying. We trying
Nope. Go
to.
ahead and
If
grab
it can save you 10% and I'm making 5 product videos a day, you know,
Yeah,
that could add up. Look
Yeah,
into that
man.
one.
Check it out.
there we go. Okay,
Thank
okay.
you.
Check it
Listen,
out.
let's pause and okay. You got a list of 14. Let's go down the list here to Mr. Haas again, and then we'll keep going around. You keep that list of 14 with you, though. You started with Notion. Lawrence just pretty much threw that out the window and told you to go back and start using Crayola. Um, we know that you are a Mac person. We know that you are, from a video editing platform perspective, we know that you're an Ecamm person as well, since you are one of the camp counselors this year at Creative Fam. So I gotta get my whole thing right of using these props. I got my Matt Haas props. So I'll get it together. Um, what else is close to the vest, right? On a daily basis. And I keep going back to you because when it comes to consistency, you're probably the one on of the four here
Yeah.
that's most consistent. Again, 4 o'clock in the
Well,
morning every single day, going out there and producing a show. It's really 5:30 or something like that, but I'm going to exaggerate.
SOPs are a big part of it, the standard operating
Mm-hmm.
procedures. And um, I like it because it's like a cheat sheet, but you're allowed to have it.
Yeah.
So you don't, if you figure something out and something bites you, you note it in your SOP and then you check it before you go live the next time. And then it should never happen again as long as you're looking at your standard operating procedure, which is just a list of things you've got to do. Sometimes in the sequence you have to do them because if I turn on my speaker before I turn on my Rodecaster Pro, it goes pop. And that's a very violent electrical sound. So I have a sequence that I sometimes do. Although I do have 9 triggers on the, Madam A office lights on. I don't say ALEXA on
Appreciate you
mine.
for doing that because
You
yeah,
get
she
it.
would have woke up
You know,
over here too, and
but
and
but not everything can be attached to that. So, and that's fine, just getting your studio prep. But SOPs are also pre-show. Then you have the run of show, which is kind of like an
mm-hmm,
SOP, sort of. And then you've got all of your post-show actions, where um, I have my routine down where I do my closed captions in Whisper and then upload those to YouTube because I like YouTube to have my closed captions, not the auto generated closed captions, because there's benefits to being a YouTuber if you do it that way. I use AI to make the chapters, and I'll dump the chapters in the video description, and I will catalog everything in Notion because I'm a big fan of using Notion after the fact just to keep track of things because I'll send an email newsletter and I'll copy and paste the show titles and the
mm-hmm.
um, um, chapters into my email body when I go to send my emails because I say, hey, I did these 5 videos this week, and I have the thumbnail, the title, and the little video, just the chapters. So someone could look down the week and say, Monday, nothing's interest me. Tuesday, nothing. Oh, you talked about that topic on Wednesday? Boom, then go right to it.
And
So
you
I'm
have to
trying
link.
to,
Mm-hmm.
it's all about adding value to the community. If I could do something that makes it easier for the community, I'll add it to the SOP, and I try and do it on my post marketing. So, um, but really, the tech that I use is just that. Now, I do use lucid charts and smart sheets, but that's
Oh wow.
more day job type of thing.
Yeah.
So one is diagramming, where you can kind of mind map things out, but you could diagram it in very formal diagram ways, because they have like the AWS formal icons built in, and there's other business. And here's the thing, I hate talking about myself, but
Oh, he's a
a
bad man, ladies and
business
gentlemen.
I'm a business analyst, in my full-time job,
He's a
which
bad
means
man.
my job is to make things better, faster, cheaper, and tell the company how to do things better, faster, cheaper. And sometimes people don't like to change their ways. I don't know if you know that about human nature. People don't like to be told to do something a different way, even if the way is better. But I have a way with it.
No worries.
People
No
seem to
worries.
love me there. So,
So you're a
um,
lucid chart person, and Florence and I we're old school Visio folks, but we're not gonna pick on you. We
yeah,
still we
yeah.
still
I
love you
mean, hey,
either way.
it's what works. And but like a lot of tools work,
Yeah.
if
But let's do this because I don't want to gloss over this. And Florence, I'm not sure if you got anything to add, but you talked about standard operating procedures and you talk about having that written down. That's something that it should not be glossed over because, again, either have it on a post it note, you have it in Apple Notes, you have it in Google Tasks, you have it in those wherever. But those redundant administrative tasks that you do every single day, every single time you turn the lights on, press record. And if you don't do
So
them in a certain order, something could go wrong. Like Greg's lights just went off, right? Again, like his battery
yeah,
just.
I'm like, where'd he go? But
Perfect timing.
Old Navy, you know what? Old Navy person here.
Mm.
Have those steps so that when you're tired, you're not feeling well, whatever the situation may be, your standard operating procedure will tell you what you need to do without you having to think about it. For those who don't know, I actually work in the healthcare industry, and that's everybody knows about uh, SOPs and checklists, the checklist manifesto, how it got into healthcare. We've all heard about SOPs for pilots, but it really is there when you're tired, when
Mm.
you haven't had enough rest, when your brain just doesn't want to remember. It does the hard work for you so you can simply execute, right? You can execute the thing that you want to do. I learned this very early in my life in the Navy. We had checklists for everything. You learn how to do everything so that you could execute regardless of the situation you found yourself in.
and it helps the
And
next person do it as well in your absence.
and it
Win-win.
helps the next person do it in your absence. Brain drain is a real thing. Organizations, whether it's volunteer or business or whatever, when people walk out and the knowledge walks out the door because it's in their brain and it's not written in the SOP, it doesn't have to be fancy, right? It doesn't have to be the tome that's sitting on a shelf. It can be in your work management tool, just a checklist, 3 bullet points or 5 bullet points of do this, and this in this order to execute this minor step. And Matt, you do it. And as I got started in this content creation game, unbeknownst to you, I used some of your tools because you were one of the first people I ran across and became familiar with. And I didn't know anything from anything in terms of content creation and doing YouTube videos. I know a whole bunch of other things, but I didn't know anything about this. So I was looking for how do they get these things done without driving myself crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
have
have
to
another
make
tip
I'm gonna
too.
have to make Matt's web frame just a little bit bigger because his head is now going to get. I'm gonna have to make
And
him much larger now.
but yes, my checklist was a combination, and then as I started to find my own way, I started to modify it. But every show, every video starts with here's a checklist before, during, and after. Like those are the 3 phases: before, during, and after. What do you do before you do the thing? What do you do while you're doing the thing? And what do you do after you do the thing?
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So I'm glad we spent a little time on that because again, it seems mundane and it seems redundant. It seems administrative, but having that written down, not just in your head, but right, but having that written down because one of our co-hosts who will be on hopefully next week, Stephanie Garcia, has always said, no drive by streams. And what
Ah,
I take from that when she says that is again when you show up, make sure you're prepared. Make sure you've gone through all the steps, all the iterations of being ready to, as Matt said, bring value to your community. And if I don't have my white balance right, if I don't have my stream elements set up right, if I don't have all the stuff configured before I say go live, and I'm fumbling around, that detracts. So love that. I love that. Appreciate that. If you guys
I
got
got
any questions, go ahead. Go ahead, Greg.
I got a resource, man. I want to share. I want to shout out to Stephanie, and I know she's on the other day that you have the show, but
Yeah.
she has something. It's a part of her right now. It's part of her program called Digital Confetti. But
Yeah.
inside the program, she has something called Video Script Maker.
Yep.
And in the past, you could. It was separate. It was just a product you could get, and it allows you to map out your program and choose different intros and hooks to get people in. And I use that to when I first start my show to have consistency and have an SOP for my show. So if you guys need something like that, look
Bro.
up
Oh,
get
I
with
got it.
Stephanie and
I'm surprised.
Video
I'm
Script
surprised that
Maker.
someone else. I'm sure that she's going to be just tickled to death to hear someone else is using it as well. Okay.
That was powerful. Recommend that.
And of course, I
You
can't
know,
find it right now.
we're glossing over one of our greatest tools, and we're saying it, but we're glossing over it. And so I want to pull out fellow creators is one of your greatest tools. It's one
Mm,
of your greatest technologists
mm,
because you have the opportunity of listening to brilliant minds and how those brilliant minds work, but not just how they work, but how they execute. Ideas, dreams, wishes are fantastic. But at the end of the day, they have to boil down to what are you executing? What are you doing, actually doing? Whether it's writing, recording, audio, video, podcast, blog, course, brilliant minds taking what, as I said, when I started, didn't know anything from anything. And I used what people who had gone before me, the
mm.
Matts and the James Hicks and the Chris Stones, and said, what are they using? And how do I incorporate what they're using into how I function? It wasn't about the technology, it was about the brain trust. How are these people who've gone before me functioning?
I'm a
So that
big
I don't
fan of
have to
tasking.
start and not
Yeah.
know anything and make way more mistakes than I have to make.
Yeah. Yeah,
That could go.
ask.
We
I
can go.
love
Yeah.
asking and I love being asked because I'm surrounded by a lot of professionals who have consulting businesses and they help others and I love it. But me, I'm making content on the internet. I'm not talking about the behind the scenes stuff. People aren't coming to me for that. I did have a channel where I talked about behind the scenes stuff, but now I'm not doing it. So yeah, I'll share anything. If I have the answer, I'm more than happy to share. And if it goes with just content as well, not necessarily productivity apps or something like that, but if someone um, is fighting through how to be a better presenter or the run of show, or they're not quite sure what's working and they ask me, I'm there, baby. I'll tell you. I'll gladly tell you. So yeah,
Love
ask,
it.
lean on others, especially if you see something someone's doing that you like, or the quantity that they're doing is impressive, or the quality of what they're doing is impressive. Just ask.
Yeah.
What's the worst they could say is not get back to you or say no. If you ask me and I have the answer, I'm going to tell you, and I love it.
I will make sure that the link to matthaas.com, very easy URL to remember, is there to have all your contact information. But Florence, I mean, that's a good point right there, right? Leaning on, and I call it the inner circle, right? You find folks that are aligned with you and not necessarily yes people, folks that will tell you when your production, your design, when your delivery, when it's not right, right? I've had folks in my inner circle tell me, "Hey, James, your overlays, your web frames, your shorts, they need a little bit more work." And I took that feedback, I took that criticism, and learned from it. Hopefully, I'm doing all right now. But I expect
You
that, and I respect that as well, right?
you have to be open to exactly that
Yeah,
feedback. But the key is discerning the difference when someone is giving you feedback because they're really in your corner
yeah,
and they're for you and therefore what's best to move you forward to help you accomplish your goal. That is a distinction and it's a discernment that we all must exercise. I know when Chris Stone, who's with us this evening, gave me some instruction, which Chris, yeah, I haven't followed it yet, but I'm making baby steps.
uh-oh.
But it wasn't because he was just saying something to be harsh. He was saying something because it's for my good and he's for me, right? So now I walk the path to execute on the thing that he said to do. I may not get there immediately, or I make small steps and I incrementally put the reps in until I'm standing on my own 2 feet. So I'm not wobbling or holding on to the desk. But I've listened and I say, okay, what's the technology I use? Okay, Descript. I've got to learn a little bit.
Mm,
And then I've got to study how a master executes and gets result with a tool that's new to me to get to the end game that this master has said to me, wax on, wax off, for those who are old enough to know what that is, what to do.
make it plain,
So
Pastor. Make
we
it plain.
can take those lessons from anywhere, but we have to know that the person giving us the lesson or giving us the feedback is for us as
There-
well.
there's always a lesson in the. We may start at a high level run of show and topic, but there's always a message, and I think that may have been the message right there. Greg, what's your next one, man? I do want to show. Hey, I do have it, so in case Stephanie's watching, there it is, ladies and gentlemen, right there, video script maker. Um, that tool is invaluable. I should probably use it more, but again, just the whole premise of what it provides of really laying everything out in a very concise, actionable way is the money was well spent from the first time that I used it. So, what else is on that massive list you got?
Massive lists I got. So
Yeah, come on, man.
this next one, this next one, man. Listen, I'm a student of the game and I study marketing, right? And
Mm,
so I got a Chrome extension that will allow you to save the ads that come up in YouTube. So when you're watching YouTube and an ad comes up and it's something that you could mimic or it has good copy or you just want to save it, you can hit the button and it will save the ad and you can go back to it. That extension is called Tube Sift and it allows you to save ads and bookmark them so that you can actually put them in a category and see the different ads that you have run across that you want to save for the future. So the next one on my list is called Tube Sift.
interesting. Is that we don't necessarily? I guess we won't necessarily break them all down. I'm just wondering, is that something like a Pinterest list? I mean,
No, it's so like how YouTube you can skip if you want after the
yeah,
first 5 seconds you can
yeah.
skip it, um, but it'll give you an extension, it'll give you a little button where it says bookmark this ad, and then you can choose to put it in a category if you want, and then now you can have a list of the YouTube ads that you want to keep for yourself. And the link, because if you're watching YouTube and an ad comes up, you can click on the link they give you, but they don't give you the link to the video ad. Whereas when you bookmark this, now you got the link to the video ad, which is typically unlisted.
Okay, I think one reason why I'm scratching my head and one reason that I'm looking at your side eyes because I got premium, so I don't see any ads.
Well, you don't see any ads.
Same.
Right.
If
So I'm sorry, but hey, I'm not gonna knock it. Don't knock it till you try it. But yeah, your boy got YouTube Premium, so I don't see any ads. Like
you don't see no
ads.
ads, all right.
As long as you see my ads, folks, that's all that
See, there you
matters.
go. You want everybody to see your ads,
See, this
Okay.
this
I,
And for
this
I'm
those,
is a
actually
definition
curious.
of
How are you using those? Are you using them as a swipe file, or are you using them in some other way?
so I have a swipe file. I still have a physical swipe file behind me of all my physical mail. That when it comes to direct response marketing, what you learn early on is to create, to keep and study marketing materials,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
used to get a lot of direct mail. So I have a bin full of direct mail that I decided to keep because I thought it was good. I can study it. And then when it comes to online, a lot of times we don't do the same thing. But with one of the tools I have is TubeSift. It allows me to save YouTube videos that I think may have a good hook or a good message, or even if it's just something I'm like, oh, I can mimic that in somewhere else. So I keep a good archive of video ads that I want to keep for myself to study.
Matt, you were going to add something? Well, because I
I was
want to
about
go a
that.
certain way right now, but I don't want to overlook what you were going to say.
I wasn't getting the benefit, but I got the answer now
Okay.
from Greg, so I'm good.
We got all. So here
If
we go. We got all this
What was the
data.
question?
The question was, "What's the benefit?" And he just told me the benefit, so I was gonna
Okay.
say something to that effect.
Florence, we so glad to have you on the panel. Lord have mercy. This is what it is, folks. Because Florence, listen, what was the question?
Straight no chaser. I'm gonna go.
Lord have
Yeah,
mercy. She said, "What?"
straight no chaser. I'm
That is
That's
some
the
sorry,
best
sir.
way to
words.
be,
I'm gonna try to
Florence.
behave.
No, we family here. We family here.
I don't like deciphering anything from you. Tell me straight, good or
Yes,
bad. That's the way I
yes.
roll.
So the idea is we've talked about all this stuff. We got all this data now, and how are we deciphering all this data? So obviously we are leveraging some type of large language model. We're using some type of AI. We can all say your platform is better than mine. My platform is better than yours. We can talk about Claudes. We could talk about open AIs. We could talk about Magi's and all of that. But again, so folks that are listening and are watching, before we went online, we were talking about kind of the contentiousness amongst the user base with ChatGPT 5. And I used it a couple of days ago. When it first came out, I used it a couple of days ago, and I had it doing the real deep thinking. And if I had to respond to that thing one more time, I was going to throw my entire laptop out the window. There's pros and cons to it because, right, it's wanting me to be more specific in my questions, and it's giving me at the end of the day, a response that I was ultimately looking for. But you got all this data, all this information. How are you deciphering all that information? Are you leveraging some type of AI platform? Are you a Perplexity user? Are you an open AI user? Are you just, again, putting it in a regular old pen and pad and notebook and deciphering it using Excel pivot tables or what? What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing?
So before I answer, let me tell you what I saw, because I saw 5 release being highly anticipated, and then it was released, and then I saw a lot of conflicting. It's great, it's bad, it's great, it's bad, it's terrible. We want the other one back. And so I did some research, and what I found out was that when they first released it, there were several things that weren't turned on that were supposed to be turned on in Open AI's back end that
Mhm.
would have made it function the way they were advertising and everybody was expecting. But since it wasn't on, a lot of people got responses that weren't good that they thought the one before that was better. So again, it's kind of like your first impression of the new release. And so a lot of people, it was highly anticipated, so they jumped on it as quick as they could, and they got a bad experience because it wasn't set up right when they released it. They have then fixed and turned on those features in the background that they should have, and now it's actually, given responses that are much better and more the ones they were anticipating. So when it
Yeah.
first got released, there were some things that weren't right, and so some people got bad experience because those things weren't right. And so when I was looking around, I was trying to figure out what's going on. Why is it so polarizing at the moment? And that's what I found out.
Mm, polarizing. I like that word. And that's what it was for me as well. And I'll let you guys interject as well. But one thing for sure, it's fast. Holy, listen, GPT-5 is incredibly fast. And Tallboy, I see you talking about Perplexity. I also have Perplexity Pro, so I'm using that. I actually have access, and I have the comment browser as well. And the comment browser from Perplexity really is, and I don't like using the term game changer, but it really is something to pay attention to. And if an open AI, or if the Claude folks, I can never pronounce their name, their the company's name. But right, if some of these other LLMs start creating these agentic AI browsers as well and having the assistants built in, that's going to be incredibly powerful. I like what Comet, I like what Perplexity has done with Comet. I know it's very early on and you got to have an invite. Guys, want an invite? Hit me up, let me know. Put a DM or put a comment in. I can send you an invite to comment. But that is the route I think that everyone's going. I really think that's the route that everyone's going. And so I appreciate you even saying what you said, Greg, about the fact that ChatGPT has, they right when they did the announcement, we all jumped on it as soon as we refreshed and saw it available within our environment, but it wasn't quite ready for prime time that first 2 hours or so. What are you guys' thoughts?
I think that we need to be aware, again, start with the end in mind. What do you want to get
Mm,
out? Because that will govern and help you determine what you use. GPT-5 is great for deep thinking, but if you want a quick response and you're doing a quick, I need a quick text answer, maybe that's not the model to use. Maybe it's still GPT 4.0. Maybe it's Gemini. So understanding, starting with the end in mind, new shiny is not necessarily better. It's not, right? So I have to measure my words here.
no, you don't. No, you don't.
No, yeah, no, I really do. I like really, really do.
Don't
So
let your 5 to 9 mess
understanding
up your 9 to 5. I'll just say that.
exactly,
Okay.
I like to eat. I'm fluffy for a reason. Um, but understanding as an individual creator what your end game is and what you want to get out. If you're doing having to do deep research, then GPT-5 is likely a viable and useful tool.
Hmm.
If you want quick ideas, a quick list and ideas to think through, that may not be the thing to use at the moment
Yeah.
just because it's new and M- Altman says this is the new greatest thing, and tomorrow someone else is going to say this is the new greatest thing. Um, I use both. I use Perplexity. I use Gemini. It depends on what my end goal is and what the situation is that I'm using it for. And I would encourage all creators to start with what is my goal? Is my goal to use the latest model, or is my goal to produce this type of content, whether it's an image, whether it's a a written text, whether it's a list, whether it's rewriting something that I've written or turning what I've already produced in terms of an audio file, a podcast, a video into some other form. Know what it is you want to accomplish and where you're going first. That's your first thing to decide on before you decide what tool you're using, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
No,
Now, I'm
that
one
makes sense.
person, but I that's where I start. What is it I'm trying to do? If I'm just trying to get some ideas and I'm struggling to just kind of come up with some ideas to get my brain going, I'll throw something even into Voila and say, just
Yeah,
give me a list of 50, 75 ideas, and then I'll start kind of noodling on those.
I love that. I love that. No
I,
sparkles
I, I like
with
I like
GPT
the
5.
yeah, I like the thing that says, start with the end in mind, because it's sort of like you have to use some of them to find out which ones you like. And then when you find the ones you like for the goal that you have, you should become really, really good at it. And just because other things come out, sometimes you can get really good at the tool you decide to get good at. And I want you to think about, like, how do we learn, right? Because like, if AI has all this information, how do you learn? And if we think about how we learned before AI, if you think about how you learned to drive, typically it was someone who was sharing with you how to operate that vehicle, right?
Hmm.
In today's internet, you have everybody with an opinion on what's what. How you how can you effectively learn to drive if you were listening to 4 or 5 different people? But yet here, with YouTube and podcasts and everything else, we get inundated with all sorts of ideas from it. So you have to not only choose the tool, but choose who you're listening to get where you want to go, and try to limit the different everybody saying all this stuff, because there's a lots of noise out there. There's lots of noise. There's lots of people who have different ideas, right? And so if you're trying to
I'm
learn
going
how
to
to
use
drive a car, you need to listen to one person to get the skills that you need to drive the car.
I like that. I like. I'm gonna
I'm going to
bring this.
use the old
Oh, go
my
ahead.
grandmother's term. You can't eat at everybody's table.
There you go.
So, and this
Y'all
kind
know
of,
that.
yeah, and this
You know,
that's
your
old school.
grandmother
That's
told
old
you you
country right
cannot
there.
eat at everybody's table.
Yeah. I will say that this is going
So
down a similar path right here, because so I put this note out on Substack the other day, 2 days ago. It says, "Stop trying to follow all the trends. You'll never keep up, especially in tech. Find your lane and become as proficient in your value proposition as possible. Success, in whatever form you define it, will come." And I think just what Greg just says, what Florence just said, and what everyone's just saying, is not kind of is restating that, right? What all that glitters at gold. Don't try to keep up with the GPT 5, 6, 7s, and 8s. Become proficient in a tool or the tool that matches what you're trying to do. And one, if you don't know what you're trying to do, well, that's another conversation.
We
That's
got to
another
throw
problem.
in Gemini because Tall Boy's talking. No one's saying anything about
We
Gemini.
were
But I
gonna
will
get to it.
say,
He's a Google guy, so we're gonna talk about Gemini. Yeah,
well, since it's owned by Google, it's attached to
yeah.
YouTube. And in theory, Gemini can give you quicker, more accurate answers if you're analyzing YouTube because
Hmm.
they own the platform and it
Imagine that.
talks to. So I do like that. I'm a YouTuber, folks. I like me some YouTube. So Gemini's on top of my list. But, that's not to discount anything about deep learning and deep thinking and, ChatGPT 5 and whatnot. But
Well,
yeah.
well, listen, the fact that put it on the screen here too, right when you go to Google now, there is now AI mode. I go anywhere else if it's already there. Everyone is always Googling the Google, Googling the Google. I don't know.
Google into Google. I
Google.
know when
Googling
you
the
I'm gonna
put in a
need you
Google.
to Google, but boom, there it is right there, right? AI mode built right into the search engine, just like you were saying, Matt, it's there instead of having to learn
usually the
something
first
else.
response is the AI response that they give you before they start listing other stuff. At least on mine, when I'm searching, I'm noticed it's AI is the first response.
All right. Speaking of productivity, what is the panels? I have a question for the panel and anyone out there in the audience. Um, how best do you go about absorbing all of this knowledge? And I know you can ask AI to ask You could ask AI how to ask questions and it'll kind of tell you.
Yeah.
But I find the stuff I'm doing is really complicated. Even as far as AI has come recently, like I want to analyze many things across many posts on YouTube. I don't want to just interrogate one thing. I want to look back over just the live streams for just this time period, looking for just these criteria. And that seems to be difficult. I also have another creative question on how to pull off an AI task because AI is good at creating you one image, but
Mhm.
how do you create six images with the scenes that you describe, but have the same characters? The images will include people, have the same people in all six images. So, like, that's what I'm trying to figure out on AI. I'm having trouble figuring out. So, how would you figure out those types of things? I guess is the question. And if that's not, I know this isn't really productivity, but I'm trying to use AI to be
Well,
productive
in
to
a way
do
it
these
is. No, in a way it is. Yeah.
things.
But it is
Okay.
productivity.
Yeah. Because again,
Well, yeah.
we keep talking about eliminating steps within the workflow, and you're trying to automate some of those manual
I
tasks. What about you?
I
How
can
about you, Greg?
I can help you with the image one
Go ahead.
Yeah,
to a
please, please.
degree.
Look at that. That's number 5 on the list, ladies and gentlemen.
So listen, when you first start out with an image or a screenshot of what you kind of want with the people in it,
Yeah.
you can put that in. So I know you can put it in Chat GPT and ask it to remove the persons or people from the image,
Yes.
and it will do so, and it will figure out the background because it sees the stuff around it, and it will give you that image. So now you have the background. So now, if you have other images with people, you can say, remove the man or woman from this picture, or remove the man with the red shirt from this image, and it will give you just that image. So now you have the two images and you can ask it to put together, but you're relying on AI to figure out exactly how you put it together. But you can also then take those images of the background and the people separately. You can throw it in Canva and
Mm.
put it on there where you have more control. And now you have the image that you want. You can also ask AI to do it, but you give up some control when you ask AI to do it. It's going to depend on what it
Well,
thinks where
it
the
can
man
even be
goes.
a cartoon style or a sketch style. I want to do a 3-minute story and throw up 6 images underneath my voiceover, and I want the same 3 cartoon characters to appear in most of the scenes, and I was like, I want this to be an inside of a restaurant, and I want this to be at an outside business establishment, and I want this to be in the parking lot, but the same characters need to be in all of the scenes, and that's I don't know how to do. I know how to do it to make the one picture I like, but how do I say, keep the same style, keep these same 3 characters, and then put them in this other scene? That's what I'm having trouble with.
You got to separate the images. You got to have an image of the character by himself,
Yeah.
and then you have the image of the background, and then you ask AI, put this character or characters inside the image, how,
And
and
they'll
describe
all
how you want it.
and they'll all be the same on all 6 images? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it would be me and another guy, um, in all 6 scenes, and then a couple scenes will have 2 other people in it, in just those 2. So it'll be the
Yeah.
same 2, me and the other guy, and then, like, 2 supporting characters would be in 1 or 2 different images. That's what I'm trying to do.
And putting up the references that Tallboy made, and I was thinking of VO3, but again, economically speaking, right? Because is VO3 still, if you don't have Google Workspace, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe at one time it was quite pricey to get into that and to take advantage of all the capabilities of a VO3. Yeah, yeah, you can do a lot with it, but to have, I won't even speak out of turn, but I just thought it was quite expensive initially when it came out to take advantage of it. Well, uh,
To make 6 images with consistent characters, AI comes up with the characters and reuses them in all 6 scenes, and AI creates the backgrounds based on what I tell it to in a fun, cartoon, simple style. That's all I'm looking for. Like, I could go on Fiverr and hire someone to make me 6 images,
yeah, but they're
like
going
a
to use the same
cartoonist.
thing. They're going to use these same tools more likely.
Well, that's my
Matt,
question. How
you just raised a very important thought for creators. Where is the line when you know that you can get what you want, again, starting with your end, by going to someone who has the skill to give you what it is you want
Mm.
versus you investing hours in learning a tool or a set of tools to get the output? Where is the most effective use of your time,
Yeah.
right? Is the most effective use of your time investing in a pro on Fiverr or Upwork or name one at, let's just pick a number, easy math. My old brain
200
can't do
bucks.
hard math, at $50, and I can go earn $500 in that same time
Yeah.
that it takes me, right? So where's the benefit? And I get what I want. Like there is a point where it's not beneficial, it's not productive, it's not
Hmm.
tenable
Mm.
to keep putting time into a technology to get what you want out. I keep coming back to this, what do you want to get out of it thing,
Yeah.
right?
Well, see, I mean, at
Because
first, I'm like, I want to do one video with these 6 scenes, but I
exactly.
have 2 dozen stories. I call these my outrageous stories throughout my life, and believe me, I've been in
Mhm.
some crazy situations, and they're fun, and I talk about them, and they're great pieces of content. But if I could do the voiceovers with images underneath, I think it would just bring new life into the story. It's the same story that I published, but I'm like, maybe I carry this through to 24 videos, the same concept. And maybe I want to keep the cartoon avatar of myself looking similar. So I could hire someone to give me 6 images, but what if I want him to do that 23 more times? Then
And that's exactly,
then I might
that's
want
the
to do it myself.
calculation you make. If in the 6 images, your 6 images is gonna garner you revenue coming in
Yeah.
versus your 6 images that you're putting them out and they're not gonna get any revenue coming in, then yeah, maybe the calculation is that doesn't make sense. The other calculation is how many hours is it gonna take me to get these other 23
Yeah.
done?
And who's going to take that time,
And
which
what
they
is the
should?
what am I producing? Right?
Mm.
Production is about what am I producing? Is it going to generate any revenue? Or if I don't really care about revenue, what is the societal benefit it's gonna, maybe not everyone thinks in terms of revenue. I do. I like eating. I'm fluffy for a reason.
Right, right, right.
You need to put that
But
on
what's
t-shirt.
the societal benefit that what I'm doing is gonna make a difference?
See
If the
what you
societal
just
benefit is something that is important to me, then the investment is worth it. Either the invest you only have 2 ways you're gonna invest dollars with someone else who has the expertise, or you're gonna invest dollars with your time to learn to get the expertise.
Yeah.
There's no other choice. You're gonna Either way, it's an investment. You have 1,440 minutes. All humans have the same amount when they live 24 hours. No one has any more or any less. So where is the best investment of that time? Dollars represent some investment of that time.
At
That's our
some point,
currency today.
those 2 line graphs will cross.
Right.
If I
There's a
wanna crank
right.
out 2 dozens of these videos, I might be best to learn the skill myself rather than paying someone, you know, $50 a
Right. And
crack
so
for 24
right.
videos.
So for what you want to accomplish,
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah,
But the question is asking yourself that question,
yeah,
right? Asking yourself
100%.
that question and making that decision for you, because no one else can make it for you. You're sitting in the driver's seat and you
Yeah.
know where that break point is.
because now
We
we're
all
talking about
For
the
everything, we have a
business.
break
Yeah.
point. Where is that break point for each of us?
So
We're
Greg,
talking
go
about
where
the
you going, because that's where I wanted to lean into right there. Because four of us and a lot of folks that are in the comments have a whole different mentality when it comes to content creation. As and you notice, I started as solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, because we're not out here just having fun, yes, and we bringing value. We're talking to our communities, but listen, I'm in California, and everything costs out here. I'm 56 years old, and we can't just be doing stuff for fun too, right? We really looking at some debits and some credits and bringing value to folks. And again, I keep saying people pay attention to what they pay for. So if I know 10% more than the next person, and I can give them some expertise, my expertise is worth X number of dollars. So Greg, go where you're going, because again, I wanted to keep talking about again that business aspect. And listen, if you're out here creating content and you're just trying to have fun and you just want to fire up a YouTube channel, okay, but there's a lot of noise out there already, and that noise is not going to be sustainable. If you can rise above that line and bring something of value, that's going to be the winner. That's going to be the winner. So go ahead, Greg. I just wanted to get on that soapbox real quick, and now I just jumped off.
No, I hear you and I appreciate it, man. We talking about the business of the business, right? What is the creator who just wants to create bigger than the entrepreneur? You need both, right? You need both. You can't just create, right? Unless what you're creating is generating the revenue, just what you're creating, you need both. You need to feed both, right? So it's like you have to think about the time aspect, right? We only have so much time. The only way we're all equal is we only get those that much time each day. That's it. Other than that, we're not equal. Some people have more skills, some people have more access. Like there's a whole lot of things, but that time is the only thing. So with that time, do you want to be just a creator, or do you need to be the entrepreneur and the creator at the same time so that you can generate enough revenue to be able to live the way you want to live, invest in the things you need to be even a better creator? And a lot of times, what I've seen is a lot of times creators just focus on just the creating part and they don't sometimes think about some of these other things.
My goodness, feed
So, Greg,
both.
I'm going to say we're all creators. Every human is a creator. Whether they exercise it or not is a different conversation. But every human has the ability and the gift of creating, maybe different things. In the context of our conversation, what you just said, whether it's written, image, combination thereof, video, what are we doing with it? Are we creating whatever that thing is? This show, for example, with that Professor Hicks, creating for the better good, societal good, or is it creating because the goal is to generate, I'm not afraid to say it, revenue to
Hmm.
be able to move to the next stage, right? And Matt, I'm going to go back to it. And he really, I'm just saying this, Matt. You really actually have no clue how much I studied your material when I got started. You like literally have no idea.
I'm
I would be in
thrilled.
your
I,
streams
I'm
and would
I'm honored.
never say anything, but I was on every show. I was in the chat. I was in the audience on every one of your shows on the channel that you stopped producing on
Okay.
every single time.
Hey. Hashtag Team Lurker. I love it.
Team Lurker, and I told Hicks this. I was watching and learning because I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
I spent 40 years in technology. Just for those who, so when I said I'm a nerd, I'm a true nerd. I've spent more than 40 years in technology. 30 plus of those has been in healthcare technology. So I didn't know anything about YouTubing, video, live streaming, broadcast shows, any of that. I knew productivity. I can teach you. I'm in fact tomorrow I'm teaching a corporate class on productivity using Microsoft OneNote. Um, I knew that because I've studied it literally since I was in middle school. quite literally. I've studied it since I was in middle school. So this is very little you can tell me about it. The bottom line still comes back to what you said, Matt. What is it you want to produce? These 23 videos that you want to get out, how much energy and effort is it going to take you versus you investing some amount of dollars to get the result that you want to get and for what purpose? It's all of these
Uh,
tools end up being one of my favorite tools is drafts, but I use it because I can get to the other end of what I want to get to
Mm.
quickly. I can capture, I've got scripts written that transform those ideas, those lists, the notes that I take into other forms to whether I'm putting in a Google document, a text file, a Evernote file, a Notion thing, wherever I'm putting it, I've got dozens and dozens of places to transform that content into. And I've already written the scripts and it's in there, and I hit a button and I'm done, or I say something to my girlfriend that's name started with the S, and there you go. So what is it you want to get out? I'm gonna keep coming back to that because
Yeah.
that drives every input decision that we make.
I'll be doing some estimates and then seeing where that graph crosses. And I'll pivot along the way because I might think I want to make all 24 of these videos of my outrageous life stories. But I might not. Maybe I'll make one or six and then say, maybe that might be enough. It's hard to tell, but yeah, I'll
But
do the business analysis and figure it.
but
Make my
then
best guess.
Matt, the thing I will challenge you for is you ask a powerful question like, how do you do this thing to get the same character in the same that answer? I don't know the answer. Be
Mm.
very frank. I don't know the answer to it. I'm not an image person. I barely do much. I actually use my VA more than I use me. But once you have the answer then becomes a thing of value on its own.
Oof.
Because now the other person asking that question, they know they can go to Matt and get the answer. Matt has the answer in the cheat code for this thing I'm looking for. Now that is a thing of value. It is an asset that you can decide how you want to use it.
Yep.
So
Yep. I love it.
that right there, that threw the dope up right there. So
I
I want to do two things.
I have a
Oh, go ahead, Matt. Go because you're more important
uh,
than me.
just to summarize, I have a clear end in mind. I have the
Yeah.
end in I know exactly what I want, but I don't know what questions to ask to get started. And with this conversation, I'm going to do some business analysis and kind of see which path I want to go down. And once I get answers, if I go down the AI path, what Florence said, now I'll know I'll I'll know the
And we'll all
framework.
be coming to you saying, Matt, take my money.
That's
Take
where I
my
wanted to
money.
go. That's where I wanted to go. And see, and then I
Take my
love the
money.
fact that Matt said he's willing to go and ask the questions as well. Back to what Florence was saying, and then Greg, I'll let you go one more on that list. The rationale and the reason behind the technologist forum is having these conversations with experts in their fields. Right. We have dialogue, we have conversation. It can go one way, it can pivot another, but there is always a lesson to be had. And we've had a couple of them already. But at the end of the day, my goal has always been for folks to connect with Greg, connect with Florence, connect with Matt and Stephanie and Chris and whoever the other co-hosts are, and pick their brain, get on their calendar, take advantage of their consulting fee for 30, 60 minutes, whatever the case may be, so that there is some premium value that they can give you as well. Yeah, end up paying for their expertise. I'm putting these Avengers together so folks can see that, yeah, Matt knows some things. Lawrence knows some things. Greg got some lists over here that you might need to take a look at. So at the end of the day, again, from a selfish perspective, right, bringing all of these subject matter expertise around solopreneurship, entrepreneurship, starting a business, creating content. We haven't talked about cameras. We haven't talked about microphones. We haven't talked about anything else. We've talked about technology and where does the technology matter and resonate for each of you. And we haven't really talked about spending a whole lot of money, right? You could use Notion at the free level, or you could use Notion at the expensive level that Matt's using. You could use Gemini at one level, or you could get Google Workspace and pay for it, right? It's not really a lot of outlay in terms of an expenditure, but if you got to be clear on that why and what that intent and purpose is, and that's the whole idea. I wanted to bring that up as well because we talked about, Florence, you talked about, I want to have the conversation about finance and revenue and things like that. Yeah, that's part of this whole thing as well. Bringing together these Avengers here, y'all, and having these conversations. Okay, one more, Greg. One more, then we're gonna bring the plane in, brother. What's on the next? What's next on that?
All right, man. We talked about
Whew.
quite a few things, but
Lord have
I'm gonna
mercy. I need a
let you
drink.
let you know about this one. It is a morning routine app. It is you can
Mm,
find it at getletsgo.com. Getletsgo.com. And it has some of the best features in a morning routine or productivity app. It allows you to have your mantra. It starts off with, so I'll show you the one on the phone. It starts off with a quote, and then once you say yes on the quote, it takes you into now everything's not working. It takes you into where you have your statement, your vision statement. You can put your list of things you need to do for that day. It
yeah,
takes you through a gratitude where you do your gratitude. Takes you through the list of 7 things. So these are kind of the most important things in the eyes of productivity, for productivity apps that you can do to help you stay focused on your goals and start to create a task list of the goals you need to do every single day. And one of the things I love about it, it is I believe it's like $10 a month, so it's very affordable. But for $10 a month, you can add it to your whole family. You can add it to like 7 people for that $10 a month, and it's comparable to some of the other productivity and morning routines app out there by some of the higher gurus that will cost around $40 a month. But all of the features that you need are actually in this one, and you can do it for your whole family. So if you're interested in that, I would definitely. It's something I use every day. It's getletsgo.com,
yeah.
and it's the Let's Go app.
I got it right here, and they had me when they saw this right here, vision board. I should take a
Yeah,
picture. I got
vision
my
board is
vision
in there. Yep.
board right on the other wall right here. That's those soft skills. My gosh. Yeah, we can talk about apps and other things like that, but again, having some affirmation, some meditation, some pause, and some allow you to get focused, stay focused on you. That
Yep.
whole aspect right there, and I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So yeah,
Yep.
look at you coming through with some soft skill. All right.
So I'm going to say everything that you outlined, Greg, wonderful. Thank you for bringing that. It's a tool I'm not familiar with. So I'll definitely go do a little bit of studying. But everything that's in there, I've done for years, and I do it in Evernote. I have a template
Mm.
that almost as you were going down the list, I'm like, that's my template that that is opened every day. It's the first the page I look at. It's created automatically. I built it one and done. And if I decide I want to change it, it's there. So it's interesting that you laid it out because it was I was like, well, everything he went down the list, and this is everything I look at every morning, day by day.
Evernote was one of the first to embrace a very powerful feature, and that was to do text searches and give you results based
Yes.
on text that appeared in the pixels of an image.
Hmm.
Yep.
So if you had like a
Yep.
menu and you had, something and you searched for the menu item and it was only in the image, not in the metadata, not in the title or comment, it could find it. That was impressive back in the day. Now everyone's doing it.
It was OCR
Evernote was one
before
of the first.
OCR
Everyone
was
does it,
popular.
but no one does it still quite as well, in my opinion. My opinion, as Evernote does. I was today earlier today, I was looking at a video of someone who said, I left Evernote in 2025. I'm not quite ready to leave Evernote because there are still things, workflows that I've built over time, over the many years. I've been using the tool since 2008. So I have
Yeah.
lots of workflows that I've built that just simply they're on, like, I don't have to think a whole lot. What I need is there. My team that I work with, when we produce certain things, we all know where things are, what it looks like. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. Again, it's maximizing the use of that 1,440 minutes. And so I've just built it up over a long time. And I've consulted with a lot of people to help them with their own implementations. It's still a useful tool. I'll
Yeah.
say it that
Google
way. Still a useful tool.
like a knockoff version of Evernote. I think it's called Keep. I don't think people really use that very much. People love Evernote for good reason.
Yeah. Did Evernote lower their prices? I know that sounds weird saying it, but that was some of the big concern when Bending Spoons acquired Evernote, that it got ridiculously expensive, something like what Bending Spoons did to StreamYard. Uh-oh.
So I'm gonna say what's ridiculously expensive. If I can do in one tool what it'll take me two or three tools, and I'm paying for two or three tools. So the combination of the total cost of those two or three tools is more than that single, and I can do it. Which
Yeah.
one is more expensive?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Like
that's a
those are the decisions we make constantly,
yeah,
right?
that's definitely a way to look at it. But I think the challenge was the price increased so much over the years. So if you're a longtime user, like so back in 2016, the Plus plan went from 299 to 399 per month, right? And it was only like
Mhm.
$35 a year, and it just kept increasing,
And
increasing to the point where
right.
now you at one point you weren't considering even the subscription, but it got to the point you got to say, well, wait a minute, what's going on? Why y'all keep increasing it so much? And to James's point, that's one of the things that because I remember when it increased so much that year, I don't remember what it maybe it was 2 years ago. I questioned it myself, and so I went to cancel it, and they gave me half off for the next year, and so I I took advantage of the half off, but you had to go to actually cancel it to get the
Yeah.
discount.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you're paying one thing every year, and then all of a sudden it jumps, that makes you now question what's going on, and so that's what happened.
Well, yeah. So it also makes you question where was the product, whether it's Evernote or anything else, was the product underpriced from the
Mm.
beginning for
Mm-mm.
what it was needed, for what was necessary to evolve the product and keep the product moving forward? Was it underpriced? Were they artificially keeping the price low for whatever the reason may have been? I remember all of y'all are old enough on this in this show to remember the days when we were all screaming about a product on in the Apple store costing $2.99. That was way too expensive. Now we would grab that sucker and run,
Listen,
be
I'll
like,
buy one for the
yes,
whole family now. Listen.
load,
$2.99.
yes, right?
Shoot.
But there
Yeah.
were the period where we were all screaming that was way too expensive.
Yeah.
It wasn't 99 cents.
Yeah.
We spent $100 at a 99 cent each and didn't think about it because it was 99 cents. We
Can't
all
argue
did
with
it.
facts,
I
right?
did it. You did it. If you didn't do it, you've never used the iPhone.
No, if you did, if you saying you didn't do it,
Okay,
you're lying to yourself.
you, you telling yourself and everybody else's story.
I love that.
So depends on it depends on the value that you get. I s- invest the higher price for one tool,
Mm.
but that one tool allows me to do what I need to do as opposed to using three tools that I'm investing in. Remember Rome research and how expensive it was when it came out? And it was everybody wanted to have a Rome research account. I was like, no, sir. because I could do what I needed to do in the same tool I was already using. My admonition, you may disagree, and it's okay if you do. Know what you want to get out of it and how it serves you in your workflow and in your creation and in your business and in your life so that you make the decision that's right for you because none of us can make the decision that's right for any other person. We all have different things we have to consider. Price is one, time is another, effectiveness is another, usability is another. Am I working with other people or is it just me? If I'm working with other people, as in my case, the cost of changing to something else is that cost more than I'm willing to pay right now. Because
And
when
that,
you change,
yeah.
you've got to go through the adaptability and all of that, even as a small organization
Yeah,
with
that
those
makes
other
sense.
people.
I'm gonna say, how you gonna
That
follow
makes
that up right
sense
there?
for
Yeah.
those who think that out, but for a majority of the people who use, like, if you're looking at Evernote as a company, they almost went under because of it. They almost, and it was people talking about it like, man, I'm never going back from what they did. And it's like, not everyone may be using it to the ability where it covers two or three other tools. And you have to look at, in my opinion, you got to look at the overall basis of what a change like that would do to the company, because a lot of times these executives and people who come in these companies, they make these decisions, they just if things change so much, they still have their job, right? But as entrepreneurs, you can't make major changes like that and not know what's going to happen, because it could change things to the point where you are no longer in business. So it's kind of like, a big company making changes to the price, you got to look at how that affects you as a small business. But as a small business looking at that big business, sometimes I'm like, y'all make some dumb decisions sometimes when it comes to what you're doing. And I think the way they did it was not the best way to serve their customer base, and they lost so many customers because of it at that time. And I believe, if I'm looking at my screen right, that year was like 2023 is when they really increased the price, and they had so
It's
many
this,
people
it's
complaining.
yeah, it's the same thing they did when they bought StreamYard
StreamYard, yeah.
and caused a ruckus, and people ran from StreamYard. Many people did, but many people didn't. Many people did not, but many people did.
I left StreamYard for other
Bending
reasons.
spoons
I
is
won't.
a
I won't.
business at the end of the day, just as we all are a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So we make these decisions in every other where you work, you have a 9 to 5 or a 5 to 9 or whatever the case. You're making calculations on what makes sense for the bottom line. I want to put food on the table, clothes on the back. I want to keep the doors open. What are the calculations I'm making? Whether it's using a tool to make the best 23 videos using the example that Matt put out. So now I create an asset that now I can put in the marketplace that people say, take my money, because I
Mhm.
went through the pain of figuring it out. So it was worth the investment. Or it's, I'm going to use this tool versus that tool to accomplish a goal. We're still making a fundamental calculation of what makes sense for the business, even when the business is our personal household, as opposed to our business being our company. And it may be both. Highly likely it's both if you're a small entrepreneur.
True. True. Yeah. Wow. That's I love, so let me do this. I'm gonna put a bow on this because, and I'll come up with another analogy one day. You guys have heard my analogy. It's not a great one, but Yolanda, good to see you in the building. I'm gonna use my analogy. It's like we like crack dealers, right? We gave them a little bit, and hopefully we was look at Matt over there grinning. We like the crack dealers over here. We gave the folks just a little bit and want them to come back for some more. So I mean, the idea is we started down one path talking about productivity tools, again, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, creators, but really turned it on its head and said, first and foremost, what is it you who are you? What's your why? What are you trying to do? Who are you trying to serve? And there's a plethora of tools. Greg, if you could send me that entire list, I'll put the links in the description as well because we went over about six of them already. Um, these are some key ones that we take advantage of in our daily workflow. We're looking to eliminate steps in that workflow. We're looking at creating standard operating procedures. We're looking at creating efficiencies of scale, all of those things. But at the end of the day, the tool doesn't matter if, again, you're not sure. And you don't have to be 100% enlightened, but you need to know which direction that you're going. Let's put it that way. You need to know at least what direction that you're going. And if you fall, okay, get back up. And if you need to turn a little bit, then that's fine as well. But at least have some sense, some directional sense. These three folks here are experts in their field. They can help you with uh, productivity, project management. They can help you with marketing analysis, things of that nature. So that's the reason for having these experts on these types of shows, to let you go that 201, 301 level and have those types of conversations. Hopefully we brought value just in terms of raising the question, right? And having a deeper conversation about productivity as it relates to creators and bringing value to our community. At the end of the day, that's the title for the show. Productivity as it relates to content creators and things of that nature, right? But no one is telling you that you have to go with Amaran, Evernote, Sony. Why did I say Amaran? Oh yeah, because I got my Amaran lights about to show up. But no one's telling it that you have to go with these particular tools if they don't match what it is that you're trying to do. We're not trying to put a square peg into a round hole. We're not trying to force you to do this. We're not telling you got to use Ecamm. We're mentioning all these other platforms as well. What matters and what resonates with you. So hopefully, and I'm gonna get off the soapbox, and I'm gonna let Florence close it out because we started with the ladies. We're gonna end with the ladies, but you know, you guys feel free to chime in as well. That again, at the end of the day, is hopefully what we brought to you guys today, and what we try to bring every single week for the Technologist Forum. I'll shut up now. Y'all do it. Well, I know y'all quiet.
Mr.
Did I drop?
Haas.
I'm about to say that I ain't
Oh,
dropped the mic or
Mr.
nothing, but come
Haas,
on, man.
Mr. Haas,
yeah.
I am going to one of the gentlemen that I stood on your shoulders for long before you even knew my name or that I existed on the planet.
Some broad shoulders right there.
So I'm just
Broad.
gonna say, this is the first time I've had an opportunity to say to you, uh, you're one of the shoulders I absolutely still stand on. So thank you.
You are so welcome. I'm thrilled to learn that, and that's great. That's great. I try to make things easy to understand for people, and I obsess about every radio button, every drop down menu, and on the other side, I obsess about why the companies that own the platform do what they do. Like, what's the big
Mhm.
picture? Where are they moving to? And I had a lot of fun with that channel, but it didn't make business sense to keep it going, and so I set my sights on something else and went after it. But this is a great topic. I love better, faster, cheaper. That's what I do at my day job, and it just filters into every other part of my life. I mean, that's how this happens because I'm a productive person. um, and it sometimes it sometimes hurts because I'll go to a restaurant and order something. I'm like, why is this machine here and not there? Like, I'm constantly thinking about how things in or around me in my environment, even other places that I'm in public, better, faster, cheaper. It's a blessing or a curse. Sometimes it's both, but it's just the way I am and I love it.
Dope. That's dope. Greg, I got the list. GetTechTools.com. I will put a link to that in the description. Appreciate you for putting that together and for bringing that value from your folks over at the Success Team. Um, Folks, this is what we do. All right. I'm going to bring the plane in, but this is what we do. Appreciate y'all for joining us. If you found value in this conversation, let us know. If you did not find value in this conversation, still let us know so we can continue to iterate, evolve, and get better. and keep bringing you content that rises above the noise line. So hold on, let me get some of my Matt Hosses in here. Bam! Listen,
I don't
Lauren,
have no magic
you
Matt Hoss.
what you need this one. You need this dope
Hollow.
one. Oh, see, that one was probably made for Doc. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah,
I don't have what I
I
got
had to
here.
keep something unique for just Doc and I, so I have a
That's
Mahalo one.
okay.
Lawrence, do you
Oh,
have one of these? These were at Creator Camp.
I do not. I have not been to Creator Camp, and I'm not going this year. It seems like every time Creator Camp comes, I've got something else going on uh, in my other life. And just share with you, and it's kind of interesting you're here because I had a conversation with someone today. We were talking about a project that I'm running. Actually, it's not even a project; it's a program that I'm running. And I said to the person, I'm successful because I have really talented business analysts. As a program manager, you will fall on your face
mm,
hard if you don't have really talented business analysts. And so it was interesting. I actually didn't even know that about you. So that explains a lot about for me and my background about the way your brain works and how you look at things. So thank you.
We think a lot alike, Florence. I love it. We're cut from the same cloth, you and I believe. So that's
Yeah.
great.
So, um, Greg, nice meeting you. I had not met you before. I want to hear the rest of these tools because I'll go investigate and go, okay, what can I bring to people that of these that make sense for
hmm
them to use? Because not everyone, newsflash, is willing or even have the mindset to build on their own. So they're looking for the pre-built solution that they can just use. And that's why applications are they're they're everywhere, right? Because there are those people who are not going to figure out how to I'm going to build it on my own, but not everyone is going to build it on their own. And so your list is going to be valuable. So thank you.
There we go.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love the conversation and I love sharing. And I find tools and resources every single day. And a lot of times people ask me, how do you find all this stuff? And because my clients and my family and friends know that I like stuff, a lot of times they bring it to me. Hey, Greg, have you seen this? So a lot of times they're bringing stuff to me, and then I just get to share it with everyone else. So thank you, and I appreciate that.
There it is. Folks, we might be back next week. I'm flying to Vegas in the morning. I'll be gone for a week. Y'all pray for me. But we'll definitely be back in at least a week and a half if we don't have a recorded session. But this is the Technologist Forum. This is what we do. Do all the YouTube things, like, subscribe, and share. We would appreciate it to not just this channel, but to also the co-host channel. Y'all be good to yourself. We out.